Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome back to Crash Landing with Light. And this episode is going to be a little shorter than the others because I've got less time than usual to record. As you can see, I've got myself a couple of machines here. Fluid transposer I got from the ship. Magma crucible I made. It used some nether brick. So I used this induction smelter to take some soul sand and netherrack to make 2 bricks, which were necessary for the, 2 brick blocks that were useful for the crucible. And the induction smelter itself is really useful for a lot of alloy type things that tinkers won't do, particularly making hardened glass from obsidian and lead. Now, this episode is going to be in mostly preparation for next episode. What I've done is I used this fancy machine and this drill and laser program to make myself some advanced pressure tubes. These can take more pressure than the smaller ones, and we're going to need 1 of each for what we're going to be building today. So let's move those over here. Now we've got a few things set up here that we're going to be needing. This over here is the blueprint for a kinetic, is it a kinetic compressor? Kinetic compressor. This takes power and turns it into air pressure, but we need one of these fancy cards, which takes all this stuff and fancy stuff. So these electrum ingots you get from pyrotheum and fluxed electrum blend. I made some pyrotheum. It takes pulverized coal and sulfur and blaze powder and redstone, I believe. The fluxed electrum blend, then, you need to take destabilized redstone. This is 2 dust worth, and put it onto pulverized electrum, which you can either make from silver and gold or just grind down some electrum bars, which we've done. So we need this and 6 redstone, and how much pyrotheum did we need? 1 for every 2. We need 3. Well, bollocks. So we're going to have to make more than we bargained for because it only does the even number. So let's take this electrum block. Now you can see the process that I went through. We come back here. We've got a couple of spare pulverizers that aren't working at the moment. Just toss that in and it'll pulverize it into dust. Pow-pow. Then we can grab ourselves a little more redstone. And then we can head back up here. Now we've got the magma crucible. We need to set its output to be down such that it can be thrown into the fluid transposer. So that needs its input pointing up. We'll put the electrum blend in here such that it gets infused, and we just chuck in our redstone up here. Now this is a really fast process, surprisingly. And then it comes down here, which is a little slower, and then you get the electrum blend. It's not too bad. We'll do a similar thing for the endarium, which we'll need for tesseracts and other fun things. Okay, we've got that, so we can come up here. 1, 2, and 4. This will give us our fluxed electrum ingots. These I've got experience with from blood magic in mod packs that have more than just magic. They love throwing these in here just as random expensive items. They don't necessarily make any sense thematically, but they're expensive, so they make it more difficult to get what it is you're looking for. So you take them and go a 1, a 2, a 3, and this will give us the fancy card. Theoretically. So we've got the card, we've got additional circuit boards to give it more memory, fluxed electrum, and then a 1, 2, 3. Fancy card. Not this one, this one. Now we can take this and the fancy card. 1, 2, this, those, and there was something on top. This guy. And we got ourselves a kinetic compressor. So we'll be able to take this compressor, run a tube out of it, and then this pressure gauge. That pressure gauge, let's swap these, will emit a redstone level picked up by a receiver, which is transmitted by the inventory manager to this emitter, which can then turn off the compressor when it gets to the right point. Then we just need a hardened energy conduit to put the power into the compressor, and some source of energy. We're going to use the batteries for now. Eventually we'll have a tesseract. But where is this going? Well, that's over here. We want it to be going to a charging station. This is all well and good for low levels of charge, but we're going to need more than just the 5 that can handle, and even doing 5 is kind of dangerous over there. So we're going to take these things. I know my inventory is a mess, so it goes. Let's clear out a few things. We definitely don't. Oh, we definitely need that. Okay, things we don't need. Vamoost! Okay, so now we're going to come up to the roof and we're going to build it up here. Why? Because we're going to be building a tree farm over in here, and it's going to be a Pneumatic Craft tree farm. And we need a place for the things to recharge. So what we want is our charging station, let's say right about here. We'll put our pressure gauge right next to it. And just like I was showing you in the chest, we go straight down the line with these other things. Boink. And this is a nice pressurizing system, but it doesn't know when to stop. That's where these come in. So we take the receiver and put it next to the gauge, the inventory manager between it, and then the redstone emitter here. You don't want the pressure gauge next to the kinetic compressor because we want this to be on low redstone signal. This will produce a signal, and if it's right next to it, it'll automatically turn it off the moment it has pressure. That's no good. So we come in here, and as always, we trigger it. I am good with just the 1 second trigger. Then we need a redstone condition. We need to know what it's checking for. So we've got our receiver. The sides don't really matter. The strength, I'm going to set for 7. I'm not 100% on the math they use for mapping these 15 strength onto the 25 possible in this system. As you can see, this goes higher than the small pipes. But 7 should bring us up to just below 10. In this particular version of Pneumatic Craft, if you go beyond 10, the drones get confused when they try to get charged here. They never want to leave. It might have been fixed, but it was being a bit buggy when I was testing it earlier, so 10 should be enough. And the drones can only be charged to 10 anyway. So we check that condition. On yes, we emit 1 level. On no, we emit a different level. The emitters don't default to off. They default to whatever they were just emitting. So if they were just doing 15, they'll do 15 until you specifically tell them to do something else. So you have to say, go to 0. So when this is true, we turn it on. When it's false, we turn it off. And there we are. That should be this all set and ready to go. But we need power and we need a battery. So there's the power. Cables, at least. We'll come in here and grab one of these. Let's grab this one. This one's got a significant amount of power, and it should be able to charge the system up pretty well. So we place it there. Tell it to output out the back. Actually, let's turn everything off and send it just to the back. And there we are. We've got that spinning along. And if we look somewhere in the system, you can see it going up pretty darn quick. One thing we did not grab for this that we're going to need, ooh, it's nighttime, let's sleep, is the dispenser upgrade. The charging station is only good for objects you place into it unless you give it this dispenser upgrade. This will let it actually interface with the drones while they're just buzzing about. So you go inside and you give it the upgrade. It'll add a little cobblestone roof to it such that the drones can land and get repressurized. Now we can see that is going along just fine. Let's grab a piece of redstone so we can see the levels that it gets to as it goes along. Redstone. And we're back up, and we put this down, and you can see in Wyla, you've got a power of 3, and it's at about 5. Now, here's hoping that my calculations before still work in here. We should get to 4 pretty soon, because 7 should bring us to right below 10. And then we're at 4. Now, while that's doing that and hopefully not exploding, we've got a couple of other things that we could try to make. We've got some red plastic, we've got this guy, and we're going to need a piece of black plastic, I believe. There's something else we need. What else do we need for the programmer? This is what we're going to use to program the drones. We need turbine rotors, which take turbine blades. So that's 2 rotors, that's 6 blades, so that's 12 redstone. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gold. So we come over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so none of this has been compressed before, so we should be able to just throw it in. At least theoretically. Oh, right. We didn't tell the thing that we need them. So if you haven't seen my tutorial on this, it's a fancy, fancy thing. And all we need are blades. And now they should be out. And there they are. Okay, so what else did we need? Compressed iron. We should have a bit of that left over. And of course, this is still in there. Okay, iron in the middle. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Grab those blades. And we've got ourselves a programmer. And now we can bring this to wherever it is that we want to do the programming. This is where we're going to do the charging, but this programmer doesn't really need to be exposed to the elements. So I'm going to bring it over. Yeah, let's put it over here. Book. I'm probably going to have more than one of these. It doesn't take compressed air. Let's hit O to get any I out of the way. It uses puzzle pieces to do the programming. Now, I don't have any of these yet. This start one takes repulsion seeds, which take lime, dye, and grass seeds. The area should just take the creeper seeds, which we've used. We're going to need item filters, and we're going to need dig. Dig. We're going to make drones that cut down trees. Ooh, and that's my alarm saying we're out of time. So I'm going to end it pretty much here, but what we're going to need are digging in areas which only dig particular items. So we're going to have one drone that does the trunk of the tree, one that does the canopy, and one that picks up after it using the item pickup and inventory export. Yes, inventory export. You pick it up, throw it in the chest. We'll have more on this next episode, but I just wanted to get these things in place such that you could see where we're going to be going. So we've got ourselves a nice thing. This is stopped right below 10, and you can see the power is 7. That's all I've got time for today. Sorry about the short episode. Should be back to full speed next time. And I will catch you in the next episode of Crash Landing with Light.